Hola, hello. I'm going to talk about the Basques, los vascos, and first a disclaimer. I like Basques, but they are not what they wish that they were, which is the original speakers of the language called Basque, Euskara. It is actually Iberian, the modern form of Iberian, preserved by a Celtic people, the ones called Basques. They're Celts. Not all Celts are ginger, of course. Some are black-haired. Gingers are mutants, blondes are mutants. But originally Celts were black-haired like other people. And in Spain, a lot of them have black hair. And they are tall and bigger than my race, the Iberian, original, true Spanish race. Even though that doesn't fit your narrative of lies. Now I'm going to show some good reasons to reject your narrative. Your narrative where you say that you are the original speakers of Basque, a language called Basque far after it was originally spoken, or Vasco. Now look at this popular polyglot who goes knee-deep into languages and not much further. But it is impressive how he speaks, so in many cases, not all. So look what they say. Again, again. I thought he was French Basque. This British guy looks like a Basque. Why would a British guy look like a Basque? It's because they're both Celts or Germanics, and Celts and Germanics are very similar. They're in the same spectrum of Northern European barbarian. So he's like, I'm not a Basque, even though you look like one. And why does he look like her? Because they're both Celts. Basques are Celts. You are a Celt, Basque. Eres un celta vasco. Aunque no te gusta la verdad, eres un celta. Ustedes son celtas. I plan to learn Irish, by the way. I value Celtic culture a lot. Cultures, because it's more than one. So, moving on. They thought he was Basque from France. This shows that the Basque people look just like other Celts and Germanics of Western Europe, because they are Celts. Yet the language is not Celtic nor Germanic, neither one. This must be because the Basque ancestors adopted the language Euskara from the Iberian natives, my ancestors. Thank God they preserved it. Some have. I plan to master that language and teach my half-Iberian daughter. Atlanteans of Tarshish spoke Euskara or a similar language. Therefore, Euskara is the language of my people, and I'm very glad that your people, you group of Celts in southwestern France and northeastern Spain, you have preserved the language of my ancestors, and for this I very much am thankful. So I thank God also. But you are not the original speakers. You are those who adopted it, just like Ashkenazim are not really Jews. They just adopted Hebrew culture, and the language especially, which they turned into Yiddish and so forth. Next we got denial.
Okay, so what differentiates Basques from Celts from a genetic haplogroup perspective? I also read somewhere that Celtic history is lies.
See my video, DNA tests are garbage. Subjective, opinionated, unscientific interpretations of DNA is not a game I want to play with you, with your pseudo-scientific term of haplogroups. So-called Celtic history is made-up speculation. All of it or what doesn't suit your narrative. He doesn't have a good reason to deny that Celts are a thing. It's actually idiotic to deny that Celts existed. in a desperate attempt to cling to the lie that you are an actual original Iberian, or that you are an actual original member of the race that spoke Iberian, Euskara. No, you're not Iberian. You're Celt, and Celts invaded after my people were there first. At the very least, or at most, I should say, your people were the original inhabitants of northwestern or northern Iberia, but even that is unlikely. As I explained already in my series, Greeks, Latins, Iberians, and Jews were and are not blonde. And so this is a shabby map showing Basque, Iberian, and Tartessian, or Atlantean in other words, because Atlantis was around here. And I plan a video on Atlantis, for I am Atlantean, whether you like it or not, naysayers. So supposedly this is an isolated language, although I have read that Georgian has similarities, but I have to look into that. So this is actually like a spectrum, and they're pretty much the same language. Iberians were the originals, entered Celts, adopted Iberian, just like they adopted Latin and abandoned their original language. They also did the same with Iberian. Then you have this. Now these are supposed to be Celtic people and Celtic languages. For example, the ancient Belgians, or Belgae tribe, they were Celts, Gauls, probably. Now here you see a big gap, but that's absolute nonsense. Why would there be a gap there? Celts came there in northwestern Spain from France, probably. So they would have gone across the Pyrenees and the shore around there. Therefore, that should be Celtic. And it was Celtic. The reason they don't put it as Celtic is because they don't want to offend the feelings of the Basques, who believe that they're not Celts, even though they are. But as you can see from linguistic history, they are in the spectrum of the Celtic people, and their language would have been Celtic. And the only thing that makes them stand out from others is the language that they use, not their race, because they are Celts. Then you have, from Shamanic's video, here you see, once again, Basque is supposed to be isolated. But they're not showing Georgian, which is actually probably related, because the ancestors of my people came from the east, from Italy, from the east, from Greece, from the east, from what is now Turkey, from the east, close to Georgia, the origin of mankind. From here we came. By the sea we traveled, and that's why we got to Iberia before the northerners, who came the slower land route, by that route. And here's another map showing Celts, and there's a gap here, which is nonsense. Why would they have gone by the sea to get there instead of by land? They went by land. There are Celts here. They are Celts. Basques are Celts. Therefore, this video is the truth that offends liars, but it should be made anyway. People should know the truth. In this world full of liars and drowning in seas of lies. But no. Yo soy íbero y ustedes no son íberos de verdad. Ustedes son celtas y su origen es en el centro de Europa y más al este. De ahí vienen ustedes. Y el idioma de ustedes es mi idioma, no tanto de ustedes. Y lo quiero aprender, pero estoy demorado por muchas cosas. Y eso es todo. Adiós.